Here's another expert talk, this time with Tina Milicic. Starting as a communication trainee, Tina joined Atlantic Group in 2014 with the aim of challenging classic corporate communication models. Employer branding offered the ideal playground to foster her creativity, curiosity, and wide range of interests, and she soon joined on projects that developed this branch of expertise in Atlantic Group. In parallel, Tina developed professionally, working in Zagreb, Belgrade, and Ljubljana. Today, she holds the position of Senior Employer Branding and Culture Specialist. Welcome aboard, Tina.
Hello, Joanna. Thank you for having me.
I'm very nice to see you. I would just like to ask you to introduce your guest.
Of course. Okay, just to start with, I want to thank everyone who has taken their time to join us here today, and I hope that they are equally excited as I am to untap the Ali's experience and knowledge, because Ali is one of the most recognized names in employer branding today. He's a founder of the Employer Branding Academy, and with over 20 years of experience in branding, HR strategy, and engagement in employment service, he has managed projects from initiation to completion. Employer branding projects, of course, and in this he has worked with some of the leading brands like Carlsberg, Lidl, Coca-Cola, and Domino's, to name just a few. He has also authored an ebook, The Secret Formula for an Authentic Employer Brand. So I think it's safe to say, Ali, you are a wizard when it comes to creating a magnetic and engaging and high-performing cultural organization.
Thank you, Tina. You're very kind, really. Yes, I worked on many employer brand projects, over 200, I can say, and mainly with multinationals. As you said, from surveying, researching, to EVP implementation, measuring again after implementation. So I have some experience, I can say.
Indeed, Ali, you do. So let's start to dive into it. Exciting subject today. What's going on with employer branding at this moment with pandemic, and what we can expect in the future. So you know how they say, in order to see the future and orient yourself in the present, you sometimes need to go back a little bit, right?
Exactly, yes. Let's start with employer brand management, the concept of employer brand management. Employer brand management is not only recruitment marketing. It is thought to be in recruitment marketing recently, but the origins, when Simon Barrows started employer brand concept, when he first created it, it was mainly for engagement and retention, more than recruitment. But now it has two main aspects. One is for candidates, for employees who are still outside the company, the candidates, awareness, attraction, interest, and application for them. We can say recruitment, from recruitment market, sourcing to assessment, recruitment, and onboarding. And the main part is for the current employees who are already in the company, for their engagement and retention. And when you say engagement and retention, as a HR professionals, what do you do to engage and keep the people in the company? You do talent management, professional and personal development, career development, performance appraisals, many things. So all these things, including sourcing, recruitment, assessment, the entire HR processes are in employer brand management. So it is not only recruitment, it is also keeping people within the company. Engagement also means performance. It is not only measured with how much people love the company and stay in the company, but it is also very much related to the performance of the people within the company. So employer brand management is from sourcing to alumni management, everything in between.
Yes, thank you, Ali, for highlighting that.
So, with pandemic, everything is very much on the shoulders of human resources department. I mean, people management. But before that, I want to also talk about the EVP, because there was also a subject about EVP. What is EVP in employer brand management? Actually, EVP is employee value proposition, just like brands, a product or service brand. You need to propose to your customers a value. I mean, when they use it, they will get a value. It is either functional or emotional. I mean, functional like a beverage you drink on a hot drink, and you have the refreshness of it, or an emotional benefit like buying from a charity shop. You have this emotional feeling, beneficial. You say, I'm doing something good. All the employees, they offer EVP. I mean, it is the platform where you communicate and have actions in employer brand management. Simon Barrow and Tim Ambler, by then professor, they did a research and they defined EVP as the package of functional and emotional benefits to the employees. And EVP is in the core of employer brand management. I mean, you promise something to your candidates and employees, and you need to deliver it. We call it employee experience or candidate experience. I mean, they come to your company for a reason. They have reasons, and they believe in your value proposal, and they need to experience it when they come to work for your company. So this is the definition of employer brand management and employee EVP. There is also a difference between employer branding and employer brand management. Simon Barrows tells they are two different things, and we work on those principles as well. Employer branding is only the communication part of employer brand management. Employer brand management is the holistic approach. I mean, from sourcing to alumni management, everything in between. But the communication part is called employer branding. It is the marketing communication or brand communication part of it. So let's go back to our topic today after this explanation. If you have any questions here, you can ask. Please.
Yeah, actually, what I would sum it up from your trying to tell us, and something I have also experienced in my work, that during this pandemic, so what happened right now was that we actually moved away from this employer branding part that pertains to recruitment marketing, yes. Of course. Yes. And we actually had to focus on these other parts, which is keeping employees engaged and keeping the also employees retained. So exactly. And that is actually something, I would say, a silver lining. It's not nice to be in a crisis, but it kind of put forward what is really the essence of employer branding. And
exactly. Employer brand management. Yes.
I mean, brand management. Yeah.
Yes, we talked last week. We talked about what you were doing within your company. I also talked to my other clients. I mean, multinationals from different parts of the world. And they are mainly focused on employee retention, employee well-being. I mean, you had, exactly. Yes, and occupational health, maybe. I mean, not only occupational health, but well-being. I heard many nice, good examples. One of them came from you, the coffee talks or coffee meetings. Maybe you can talk about it.
Sure. Why are we doing this as an employer branding specialist is why we have turned internally, because, as you said, the least part is marketing, recruitment marketing. What I wanted to say is what is important for the future. Why every specialist for employer branding experts should focus right now internally is because what is going to happen in the future, the image of your company that's going to happen in the future as a result of this crisis is going to be exactly related to what you're doing right now. If you're focusing right now on building stories on LinkedIn instead of keeping your employees connected, as you say, feeling well and things like that, then 6 months from now, 1 year from now, your employer brand management is just going to collapse, including the employer recruitment marketing. So I think we also need to highlight this one. What you are doing at this moment of crisis is going to define how your employer brand of your organization is going to look in the future.
Exactly, you are building an image now at the moment. Maybe as we mentioned EVP, I think we will have more well-being pillars in employee value proposition in the future. So what C19 forced us to do, I mean, it was an immediate change that we were not prepared actually.
Mm-hmm.
It happened suddenly and we were not prepared. I mean, we've been talking about many things, agile teams, you know, distance working technology, implementing technology, many things, but it forced us to change immediately. And that is where the good management showed their skills actually. The good leaders, they really needed to show their skills with this immediate change. I mean, most of the companies were talking about, but they were postponing digitalization. Now they had to shift immediately. I mean, remote workers, maybe they will keep it forever because they like the idea. I think the companies. What do you think?
Good point. Good point. I have been listening to some of the lectures today and noticed two things. Number one is this big emphasis on digitalization that happened literally overnight. We were all planning, moving toward that.
Exactly.
Now it happened fast forwarded, and it all happened now. So
Exactly.
a lot of talk about it. So yeah, it happened. Good that it happened. But what I wanted to hear more conversation about now, technology is the platform. It's the base.
Yes.
But what we need to actually be careful about that in parallel, we are developing our managers. So their skills that should be more focused on people. So they need to start building people skills. I'll give you a concrete example. No, give me a minute. I want to give a concrete example that we actually, because we had it in Atlantic Grupa. So we used data-driven decision making, and we made this algorithm that had 97% accuracy in detecting the attrition factor of employees. But now that we have discovered this factor, it's not like we are going to send HR, a special corporate function, in to save the day. It's more on manager to engage, to initiate a talk with this employee and find what it is that this employee is not satisfied with, and try to deliver that for him. Because if you send an HR to give him few benefits like higher paycheck or more days off, I don't think that will do the trick. So it's more about manager.
I totally agree with you. You know, I mean, modern management. I mean, the basics of modern management. I mean, we started talking about 100 years ago. We were not there, but they started to talk. I mean, Tyler and Farrell. And they said people management, I mean, they talked about people management within the functions, main functions of management. Okay. So people management skills is required at every level of managerial roles. I mean, you have frontline employees, you have first-line managers, mid-level managers, and top managers. I mean, first-line managers they need to have operational skills as well. But top managers, they have strategic skills. And at all the levels, we need people management skills. I mean, operation, strategy, but people management is required at every level.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, Ali. I think that when I say this, many of our local regional colleagues my regional colleagues will be able to relate to it. And that's the fact that not some of our managers, especially because they have some sort of I would say leftovers from previous management styles that have been focusing more on results than people. I think that we have a lot of space to work with our managers on on people skills. That's why I wanted us to touch this subject a little bit. So in all this digitalization, we don't forget that if we don't build people skills with our managers, then no platform will save us.
But how are we going to do it? I mean, I think most of the companies are learning about it. You know, it is a new thing. I mean, remote working for almost all the employees of the companies. I mean, if it is a production company or you don't have production facilities, almost all office workers are remote working now. I mean, the definition of the human being is we are social animals, you know. We need to be in touch with other human beings. Now we are isolated in our homes. And how will you keep your corporate culture? I mean, how the companies...
That's going to be a good challenge and good question for me. I'm also a corporate culture.
I mean, I'm asking it not to you, but to all the HR
to all the HR
yes. I mean, now some companies started to come into the office. You know, they come in turns. A group of employees come in a week, or next week they have one empty week, and the other week other people come, because this is also important for the well-being of the people. You know, they need to interact, come together. I mean, also even the teams, they need to see each other, what's going on, to understand what's going on.
And on the other hand, I'll tell you this, and on the other hand, also a lot of talk today. Yes, remote work is here to stay, because this pandemic has made us see that we can be efficient in it from a remote place. But I don't think that people are fully understanding how organizations have seen the financial potential of remote work and the potential of downsizing their office spaces. So I'm quite sure it's not only here to stay, it's going to expand. And when I look at it, I'm a little bit scared. How will we keep the body of organization compact when we have people all over? What will keep? So I'm a culture specialist, so it's my task now to think about it. And I don't know, maybe we can share some ideas here. I'd say, what would again? I was focused on managers and their ability to have empathy, to engage people on more personal level, and develop not only a relationship where it's task setting and task delivering in between a manager and an employee, but more like a relationship.
Exactly. I mean, human resources cannot be managed only by human resources department. It has to be managed by all the managers. So this is one of the things. And the quality of the leadership in a company defines the quality of the company, actually. So you will have some workload for the managers, but we'd better start thinking about how we are going to keep people together, the body, the corporate, how do you say, spirit we will keep. We have to work on that. We really need to work on it.
We really, I'd say if there are two things we can say about the future at this point, Ali, is that managers need people skills, like absolutely don't delay with it. Tomorrow is going to be too late. It needs to happen now, just as we needed to do the digital transformation. And no, it's not going to be easy. We are aware at Atlantic that there are people who are managers without people skills, because they are great experts and they are great at delivering results, but the results will not be able to achieve the results in the future if we don't start focusing on people now.
Exactly.
So I'd say a little trick, a little tip for everyone that I have seen happening in Belgrade is how to invigorate the management, the old management style in the company, is by introducing new young managers on the positions, and then they act as a role model for the older management style. I have seen this work perfectly in a production type of environment where we really have strong hierarchical culture. So when we brought new younger people with more relaxed and flat organization thinking, then they were able to be a role model for the older generation.